Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Now I know my ABCs.
No.
I'm in a hurry. I've got a very important phone call to make.
The Mandy's coming up pretty soon.
That's right. I feel like it was just yesterday.
Yeah, I
Mandy's.
gotta start making some hotel reservations and start doing the voting process. But do you have any inclinations of who is gonna take the awards this year? Do you think it's gonna be kind of the same that we've seen, or?
Well, it's different, right? In that now you gotta put your name, phone number, email, right? You gotta give all this info. I'm sure Morales is putting together some big master emailing list that's just gonna flood us with spam.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. But I think that the voting being different, I think it probably makes it more fair that people don't get to vote a bunch of times.
Right.
Man, I don't know, man. The circle of trust keeps growing, so they have a big influence on who wins. I mean,
Well,
that's kind of a big
especially
deal.
when you have good old John Ireland
Yeah.
summoning the circle
Yeah.
of trolls.
Why would he do that?
What's that all about?
I don't know. I thought it was funny, but then it seems like it's getting a little more personal.
Yeah.
But hey, I mean, if it's a bit, I mean, I don't know how you're gonna.
You start tiptoeing up to that line where it's coming on a little personal, especially when you consider the fact that a lot of the people from the circle of trust support all three of these stations in terms of like remotes and like attending things. Like the circle of trust peeps are always there. It's all good, Jonny I.
Well, I think you got to put into perspective, like, you see some of the bad stuff, people will chime in and get a little personal, say some stuff. But when you look at the whole big picture, it's like, I don't know, 5%, or it's a very low percentage of people that kind of cross that line or get a little personal. I think if you focus on that stuff, I can see how you can say, oh, everybody's, painted with the same brush.
Right.
But, he's really good at his job. He's a great Lakers broadcaster. I mean, I love listening to him and, watching the game on TV and putting Jonny I up on the radio.
I mean, I get it. There's always going to be those accounts that hide behind some anonymous profile thing or what have you, and maybe you don't meet them at all. They're just literally like a voice that's on a Twitter page that you never see. But in the most part, a lot of the people from the circle of trust, you know who they are.
Yeah.
You see, like, what they are on Twitter is what they bring to the remotes. It's like banter. It's all silly. It's all for fun. Yes, we're going to be critical in sense, but it's just banter, And I think, Jonny I to be poking the bear, so to speak. I've been trying to keep it PG, Chris. I've been, because I really, we both enjoy Mase. You're going to get a little bit into his Culture Pop podcast and
Good show.
How much content and how much grind he's putting into that project. But Jonny I, it's been a couple days. We got these comments coming out, and then you got a freestyle flow coming out. Which, by the way, was it Laker
Poems?
Laker Poem?
Or Witten or something like that.
I thought it was actually pretty good
Diss track,
diss
yeah,
track.
pretty good.
That was all for fun,
But Sedano didn't like.
Yeah, that's right.
He wasn't a big fan of the diss track.
He didn't.
Or the one that Lakers Poems did. And then I saw some tweets last night, and he wasn't very happy. Lakers Poems are Witten. So it'll be interesting because another diss track is coming. Basically, we're being called trolls. We're going to embrace the trolls.
We're going to embrace the trollness of it all.
Yeah, so it's good timing because I've been kind of messing around, learning how this AI stuff works.
Mm-hmm.
So I put some images out there showing us as trolls.
Yeah,
in the
man.
comments. So it's kind of fun, actually.
In terms of voting wise, vote for Laura.
Yeah, if I was going to get behind anyone, it'd definitely be Laura. You know, I don't think she's won one, right? I mean,
don't
she was part of Sedano and Cap when they won, but like as far as her getting an award on her own, she deserves that.
She's
more than
taken a
anybody.
lot of strides, constant growth in her profession and her position. I know sometimes we only want to hear sports, but it's like you get a mixture of those things, sports, entertainment, and her personality, her connection with listeners.
She comes off very sincere.
Right,
you know,
hard worker,
Right.
is there at the remotes to extend herself to meeting new people, hanging out with us. It's not saying that it's a prerequisite in order to get a vote that you got to hang out with us, but it just shows the realism, of the
engagement,
person.
real engagement.
Yes, authenticity, genuine sincereness, and we know how hard it is for them
Right.
to be out there, to find availability to come chill and just banter a little bit. So definitely, y'all, please make sure to vote for Queen Laura. I think it's the assistant producer position or one of those producers titles. But then there's also another
I think she's in Best Smile also.
best smile. Okay,
Man, D Cash Money, DeAndre, he's got a smile on.
got a dreamy smile.
Yeah, if you got one of those images where his teeth
Got
goes
that
ting,
ting. Yeah,
sounds like
exactly.
Casper can dig that one
Yeah,
up. But,
exactly,
But
man.
yeah, that's a tough one. But but Laura's got a great smile too. But D Cash Money being new and on the ballot, just coming out of the gate, he's already
making
content.
headway, man. Already making momentum. But
I don't know, maybe like a week before the Mandys, or maybe 2 weeks, we'll figure it out. But we just have a show, we go over the ballot, each category, who's in
great
the
idea.
running. Not necessarily showing who we're voting for, but more or less kind of the arguments and
Exactly.
for and against.
it's like what you see going into the Academy Awards, right? Ceremony.
Right.
You get the movie specialists that they get together on the panels and they discuss the
Yeah.
movies that are being voted for and the actors and actresses. So it will be that rendition, but from the Mandys.
Yeah, how things come about, how in the heck all of a sudden did John Ireland jump in the most hated category now?
Right.
Based on his coming after trolls. Is he even in that category? I don't think so.
I'm not sure, but he's
yeah.
definitely we're gonna be
Yeah,
pencil him in
yeah,
there, pencil in there.
And they
stuff.
should all have a write-in thing.
Mm-hmm.
Listener of the year, like I haven't seen, like this is year 3, but I would say like so many people could be in the running for that one.
It's
I mean,
really
because,
has expanded.
Because before it'd be just like only a couple people would kind of stand out.
Right.
Now there's like a huge field.
Really,
And
it
it's
really
funny.
is.
It's always funny. The closer it gets to the Mandys, people start putting their flag and just start like,
Doing their audition
all of a
tape.
sudden, they're on Twitter more or whatever, on social media more, calling in more.
Right.
I mean, it's all good for the station, but
Yeah, I mean it's good to have that, just the growth of people wanting to make their impact on the stations. I mean, brings a lot of traffic to the stations, a
Yeah.
lot more notoriety and things of that nature.
yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, for sure, man.
I mean, it's a big reason why we even have this podcast, like how it evolves into something else. Everything kind of springs on its own. So
Exactly.
I would guess a year from now, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 more pods pop out of this.
Hey,
that'd
that
be
would-
awesome.
that would be so
welcome
awesome.
to the Dead Meow Pod.
Yeah, yeah.
where all things negative, or something. Handsome community.
The handsome man community going to different clothing stores and just modeling it out
Trying different tequilas,
Yeah.
tequila tours.
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome to the David 100 show. I
Security.
keep it 100.
Yeah. There you go. We're kind of hoping for that,
Yeah,
right? We're
yeah.
kind of hoping to maybe get some others that want to collaborate and touch on different.
Be on each other's pods.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of
like-
start building it as a
Like
community.
Joe
for legit.
Rogan has his little comedian buddies.
Right.
And they're all kind of famous on their own right, but it started with Joe Rogan. They all on each other's podcasts.
Right.
They all drive each other's viewership.
Exactly.
So,
Like-
and then the big hope though is to get some of the ESPN personalities on the pod. We have a few that are interested, until we sign on the dotted line, we'll announce that, but we have a couple that are interested already.
Right.
So that'd be great to get some. And of course, the P1s, like Jesse, right? Jesse was awesome. You know, a lot of people in the circle of trust don't really know Jesse like that. So to see him and what he's in, his personality, and there's many out there in the circle of trust. It's not just the same 5 people you see in all the time and on social media, but there's a lot of talent and interesting folks with different backgrounds, jobs, personalities. That'd be great to see be on the pod. So hit us up.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, you know, having the opportunity to sit down and get to know Jesse, clearly done a lot of acting gigs, but just to have a sit down, knowing that he's also an ESPNLA fan, a listener, to kind of have that connection between us, it was just really cool. Like, I learned a lot from him, and you know, obviously there's been some interesting things since then.
Yeah.
But it's totally like someone I would love to have back on again.
Oh yeah. You know, I mean,
Get to know him a little. Maybe do some more segments.
Yeah, we
where
want to
he's on
start doing like some skits, some parodies. I mean,
I hear that Elvis might be in the
oh
building.
yeah, I've been talking to Elvis. If you remember Elvis, introduced Elvis a few months back. I've been chatting with him. He wants to get back into it. He's a character himself. I know he wants to go to the Mandy's.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting.
Maybe a little suspicious minds.
Right.
A little duet up there on the stage. I hope we get to see the Cam Bros up there doing their comedic spiel. Do you think it'll be?
I guarantee you, they were a hit. You know, if the Cam brothers don't end up on stage doing another roast, it just wouldn't be smart. But I imagine they'd be up there doing their thing. They're really good at it. Yeah. You know, yesterday ESPNLA put out on their social media like that last roast they did of Mase. Put some clips.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I hadn't seen that, so it was hilarious, man.
I have to go check that
Yeah,
out. I just
everybody
heard
popping up.
I've heard what they just played on the station the other day, but I have to go check it out because I've heard a lot about that roast.
Yeah.
You know, heard a lot about it. But.
You know, think about roasting and what happened with Tom Brady. You know.
Oh yeah, did you watch that by the way?
Yeah, it was really good.
Okay.
Like I actually saw it live.
The whole 3 hours?
Yeah, the whole thing.
Okay.
And the thing about roast is it made me think like, wow, I'm glad there's still a medium where people aren't afraid to say what they want to say, and it's still acceptable. Like people get it for what it is.
Right.
Like a lot of stuff goes over the line, of course, but it's still a medium where people can say like, okay, I get what it is. I get it's a joke, and not really overreact to it. But we need more of that, and at least roasting for now, it still gives us that platform.
Yeah, that is true. Like even compared to just conventional stand-up performances, you can get a lot of backlash, right?
Right.
Whereas it's like the roast atmosphere.
It's like you expect it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it says a lot about somebody that's able to sit in a roast and be able to take it, and you're able to make fun of yourself. It says a lot, you know, like,
right.
You know, and it's come up a lot. We've been kind of discussing like, would LeBron James sit through a roast of him? You think he would?
I don't know, man. I don't think not without maybe having the people that are roasting him kind of already like.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That's got to be the rules too.
Maybe.
Even with Tom Brady, people said, yeah, they're not going to talk about Giselle, and they did, and boy did they.
Yeah.
So, and then even some stuff like Aaron Hernandez, I did not expect to hear like, whoa.
So it was a pretty good roast.
It was really, I even tweeted when I first heard it was coming out or posted, I said, yeah, I'm kind of like Kevin Hart's hosting, it's on Netflix. I'm not feeling it. Like, I didn't think it would be as good as a Comedy Central Jeff Ross roast. But of course, Jeff Ross was a big part of it too. So, but no, it delivered, man. It really delivered. I mean, there's so many clips. Everybody was funny, man. Like, well,
I'm
not
gonna have
everybody.
to check that out. Who are say your 3 that were good and your maybe 3 that were like, what the heck?
Nikki Glazer just killed it, and Tony Hinchcliffe, aka Kill Tony. It's a lot of people hear me talk about like I'll be out like even with Circle of Trust. Have you seen I've talked to Cappy and a few people. Have you seen Kill Tony? You got to watch that. And they were like, who's that?
Right.
He's got like over 1 million podcast subscribers. It's one of the most successful.
His channel
live
is so legit.
podcasts.
I love how they bring up the different comedians and they kind of go at it. It's
And
like
I've been, you know, when I say something, I'll find a way to deliver it, but I'm trying to get something very similar to Kill Tony for us.
Okay.
You know, so, you know, I'm trying to work something out, even possibly a Yamava. So we'll see what goes on with that. But it was Nikki Glazer, Tony, and Drew Bledsoe, surprisingly.
yeah, that's Lindsay and Cappy were talking about how good
nailed
he
it.
really he was.
He was, God, he really nailed it. Edelman was funny. Like, just the athletes that were funny, you know. Like, a lot of these guys, of course, they get jokes written for them and stuff, but you still got to deliver. You still got to nail the timing. You still
Exactly.
got to, they all did pretty well. It was a Gronk roast, too. Like, boy, did they let him have it.
It was Gronk just smiling the whole time, probably like.
It was more of a, you know, you could say a Patriots roast, right?
Yeah.
So whoever came up with it was genius, because the Patriots are, like the Cowboys, very polarizing.
Exactly.
So just, it was a no-brainer, you know, like people who hate the Patriots watch, people who love the Patriots watch.
People that love Tom Brady watch, people that
Right.
hate Tom Brady.
Yeah, it was really good, man. There's so many clips out of there. The bad ones are Randy Moss.
I heard Ben Affleck was pretty bad.
Ben Affleck was pretty bad. Everybody said, why did he come on? Well, he's from Boston, right? He's like
Right.
a symbol of Boston, right? But he didn't do so hot. Kim Kardashian, yeah, she didn't do so hot. She got booed immediately when she walked out on stage. Kind of felt bad for her.
I'll have to check that out and give it a whirl. So the last time we were on with Jesse, he had asked us about the Lakers situation and had anybody been fired, and I just thought it was interesting because literally like 2 days after we made that episode, Darvin Ham was let go of his job. We expected that,
Right.
though, right?
It's something we all saw, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the argument could be, you know, made about, and most people feel he deserved to be fired, and there's some people that say he didn't just because a lot of people believe LeBron's a big part of it. I mean, LeBron's a great basketball. People get confused. He's like such a great basketball player, and he's, well, yeah, but there's, you know, the leadership part and
Yeah.
just, you know, the clutch sports part of it and his management
His
involvement.
influences on
Right.
a lot of things.
So I mean, I think when people are bashing LeBron, it's more about that for the people that think like, are these guys stupid? He's the GOAT.
The Lindsay Baseball of the worlds that view everybody as a hater if you scrutinize LeBron at all.
I'm like a huge fan, like, of LeBron James, just in any other uniform. Had he been LeBron James and with the Lakers in his prime, well, that's a whole different story. But, you know, just the timing of everything, and I get that we needed him, and a lot of arguments there that we needed him at that time too. But it's just basically how everything's played out. So you always say hindsight's, you know, 2020, but now that it has played out, we're like, well, let's switch. Everybody keeps saying, yeah, but we're gonna suck either way. Well, let's get it over with. Rip the band. If we're gonna have to rebuild, why not rebuild now than wait till after LeBron leaves, right? Just gonna get us quicker to the next championship. The faster we rebuild, you know.
I'll say in theory, you're absolutely right. It would be the best for them to move on, start the rebuild, and get yourself sooner than later in position to strike for another title. But that's taking into account like an organization that has demonstrated and I'm not talking from a totality standpoint, just under Genie and this regime, it's one thing to say, hey, Denver Nuggets, go rebuild. Boston, go rebuild. Even the Clippers, go rebuild. And have faith because we've seen them be able to do it. This brass, unfortunately, I've seen what they've done with it. It's not necessarily, there will never be a rebuild in the way we look at it, where we're drafting young players, we're building, and we're really keeping them in terms of a long-term future. The Lakers rebuild under this regime is, how soon can we trade these guys to get another superstar? How many years do we have to sit on salary? Because we don't want to divvy it out to role players. but we want to give it to those superstars. The thing that's kind of bothering me about all of this is like I've somehow become like a LeBron supporter, and it's not that at all. It's more like I don't have any faith in Jeannie Buss. That didn't take the money. Jimmy Butler didn't take the money. Paul George. Like all of these superstars that the Lakers had like told us this is who they're gonna get. Nobody took the money. But you know who did? LeBron. Whatever's transpired with through this whole tenure, it's like it's not as successful as we thought. But I just have zero confidence. I mean, they just fired, as much as we didn't want Darvin Ham, I mean, he's fired in 2 years. And they've been firing coaches like that.
Sacrificial Ham. I just had to get that line up there.
Let's go ahead and talk about Steve Mason's Culture Pop podcast. I had the opportunity to watch his recent episode that they did where they had Matt Walsh. He's a star on the new show coming out on Apple Plus, Manhunt. But you might remember him. You saw the movie Semi-Pros, right?
Semi-Pros.
With Will Ferrell.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the referee?
Yeah.
Was the priest?
Yeah.
So that's him, Matt Walsh. He was also in like Old School. Mason had him, did a really excellent interview with him and Sue as well. But they also spoke about the movie Challengers.
Right.
Have you seen that
I
movie
haven't
yet?
seen the movie Challengers, but based on what I've heard,
I've heard a lot of good things about it.
I want to see it. So
it kind of comes off as a combination of like sports under like the
tennis.
50 Shades of Grey kind of thing. That's
Is it
kind of
tennis,
how
right?
Yeah, it's tennis.
The tennis world.
Yeah, in the tennis
like
world.
a little love triangle or something.
Well, Mase introduced a new term that I didn't. Because yes, I've always been familiar with the love triangle just being like, it doesn't matter like two females or a male or two males and a female. But I guess when it's two males and a female, it's called the Devil's Triangle.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well,
The Devil's
Mase
Triangle.
He's a pop culture
Yeah,
podcast.
pop culture.
That guy keeps tabs with everything current.
Hearing him on Mason and Ireland show and been listening to them for a lot, and that's another thing real quick, Jonny I, is that I've been listening to you not only as a play-by-play guy for the Lakers, reporting days with KCal9, but I've been listening to you guys for like a decade more.
They're the
I even
OGs, man.
Yeah, I even called
OGs.
in and we had a great back and forth. At this time, it was about Andrew Bynum and his shocked knees, and Ireland was preaching that they should give him time, and I said no, like they need to remove his knees and move on. Sorry to go on that tangent. Very articulate in terms of his interviews, his questions, and the people he brings on.
That's the great thing about doing podcasts. Like, you get your own platform, get to speak what you want to speak, say what you want to say, and it's pretty cool.
It makes me realize that he really does deserve a Hollywood star.
Yeah.
Like we need to make that happen somehow. But he
What's the
definitely.
going rate? You got to buy one these days?
I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up. But
Yeah, Mason getting a star. Yeah, he's a star in his own right. So,
superstar. His podcast, if you guys haven't had the opportunity, we strongly urge that you check it out. He's been doing a show breakdown on the movie Sugar. Is that what it's called?
Oh, yeah.
Or the show Sugar. Have you
yeah,
been watching that?
Yeah, I've been
as well?
watching that, and it's really good.
That's
man.
what I hear.
Really good. Colin Farrell.
Yes, Colin Farrell, yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
They do these little review breakdowns on each of those episodes. This kind of gives you that little safe haven to, listen to their feedback to their reviews. You post comments, they interact back quickly. Strongly urge you subscribe to that if you haven't, and subscribe to the Blue Review, hosted by Greg Bergman and Patrick Bell.
Marcus, right?
Marcus, sorry. But they do a great job every single day, 9:30 a.m.
It's just the right time, right? It's like 20 minutes maybe?
Yeah.
20 minutes, a quick little snapshot every morning.
Exactly.
With some little nuggets that you don't really hear on other shows. It's just really quick, especially for diehard Dodger fans that just want some nuggets every morning while they're getting ready for work.
When it's fresh in your head, you just
having your
watched the game
coffee.
last night, having your cafecito, maybe grabbing the newspaper, or maybe fixing that lunch for your kids, or get some good feedback on what took place in the game, and it leads right into the Travis and Sliwa show.
Right.
You get a nice little a nice little appetizer before you head into your show's feast. But crypto,
That's it, bro.
circle out.